What's up, everybody? We are back. This is the Late Breakfast Debate Show, and we are here in this Torian B.
Woo!
And this is
First Class Reg.
And
Eli P, ABCR, Brooklyn Cab Ride.
And
aka Stepping
Watch out.
and
That'll be less guy.
and we have some special guests here tonight. Oh, and Quincy Jones is in the building. He's handling the
Yeah.
Name no gimmicks.
he's handling the Hennessy right now. And we have some special guests in the building. We have Mo Bigga, our very good friend and artist. Great Cali, director extraordinaire. We have Jameer, R&B singer.
Be like, yo, can I get your sound? Let me get your sound.
Bro, I saw you was singing with Bobby Brown, bro.
Okay, well, we'll talk
Bobby.
about that. We'll talk about that a little later. And we have Beatriz with the good hair.
Wow.
Good hair.
Snap it up.
So
for
what's
Beatriz.
bad hair,
Snap it up for
Torian?
Beatriz. Snap it up for Beatriz. Snap it up for Beatriz.
What's bad hair?
Listen, man, she's an Afro-Latina. We ain't going to start that right here. Okay, Beatriz is
I will curse you out, man.
Okay. So, today's subject, we are going to talk about Kanye West. And we're not going to talk about his antics. We're going to talk about his music. Because talking about his antics can get a little spicy, can't it, Greg?
Be here all night.
All right, so we're going to talk about the music. He announced on Twitter that he was going to executive produce 35 albums in 5 weeks. All 7 tracks. I mean, 35 songs.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That 35 albums is crazy.
Like,
wait,
I'm
hold
gonna get an album.
Yeah, 35 tracks. 30.
5
He was going 35 tracks in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So Pusha T himself, K.T.S.E goes with him and Kid Cudi. Teyana Taylor's sophomore album, and Nas, right? Damn, that's fucked up because we already after fucking forgettable. All right, so
I think Tiana's
and with that,
keep that same energy.
yeah, Tiana's is called Keep That Same Energy. So in that, Kanye did an unorthodox format where technically an album that's under 30 minutes is considered an EP, but he wanted it to be called an LP, which is an album, and there was some questionable. The rollout for some of the projects became more questionable as the weeks went by. He released some really good highlights. I would say Daytona is a highlight. I would say K.T.S.E Ghost is a highlight. But then we have Nas's rollout where we didn't get the album until Friday night, and it just seemed like
All of them seem rushed.
it seemed rushed. Daytona seemed like it was very, very well crafted. Nasir didn't seem that way.
No.
Ye seemed like he literally just went in there and just it was good, but it wasn't. It was kind of questionable. It was. Some people might say it wasn't even good.
It was trash.
Yo,
I would love to say that.
It was so underrated.
Okay.
So
All right, well, let's get into it because I don't want to just give my opinions. I want everybody's opinions. I want everybody to talk about it, so we're going to go around the table. I'm going to start
So what album we start
with Reg. All right, so let's start with...
Yeah.
You want to start
Are we
with...
talking about the albums or
maybe let's go in order. So Daytona.
Now, Daytona was the first album.
Daytona's the first. Yeah, go in order.
So, all right, so let's go in order. Let's talk about...
Daytona.
What?
No, actually, we're going to talk about the rollout first. Just everything, just period. Like, everything that surrounded it. Do you think that it was a good idea for Kanye, who's known as a perfectionist producer, to roll out these projects so fast?
no. It was
I
terrible.
think it was fine. I think it was fine to roll it. I think when you map it out, it makes sense on paper to have all these artists come out week by week.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was working on them up until releasing them, like day of shit, that's what threw me off.
I just feel like, as someone who, I am a huge Kanye West fan. I have that man's his name tattooed on my arm. That is my favorite of all time, up until now. For someone that is known to be a perfectionist, for you to just try, the rollout sounded cool, that week by week thing sounded cool, but to literally be, like you said, working on it an hour before it's supposed to release, you're not giving us what we fell in love with you for.
Is it? Well, no. That part of it is exciting. It's just, when I hear it, I don't want to be able to tell you she's working on this shit 30 minutes ago.
That part is not exciting. You know why? Because that would not be acceptable in any form of career at all. Working on the last second and just...
I do some of my best work in crunch time.
Hold on.
Pressure
but
makes
you still make
still
deadline. When has he made deadline?
Well,
He
what's the
still made
deadline?
the
What's the
deadline.
deadline according to you?
Kinda.
Have you?
He still makes deadlines.
Midnight, that should go when that album there.
See, but that's the
I
standard
love
you
it.
built,
I
and
don't
that's the
No,
standard.
that's the standard record industry has built. That's
Okay.
the standard. Like let's to a certain extent respect already the culture of something. Like you said, you're gonna have it there. Yeah, it's
But
all
he didn't
cool.
tell. But
You still have
this
to
is
do
the
it
thing
on
though.
stage.
He didn't say he would have it up midnight Friday. That's just the standard that you're used to. But if tomorrow comes and we don't get the album, tomorrow's officially Saturday, and we don't get the album, then it's like, all right, he didn't live up to what he said. But technically, we still get it.
But that
it's just that
doesn't
we're
for
frustrated
you for the
with getting it
experience
late.
of the album. For the experience of the album. That doesn't
His-
take away from
Okay,
it.
so Eli, what do you
Right.
think about it?
I think that the fact that he's putting out these 7 tracks, he's trying to. His whole campaign for like recently has been the whole. If you've been like really following like the people that's part of his circle, so everybody's been campaigning this whole thing where it's kind of like real time. So that's the main focus. It's just like real time means it's just that this is what I'm thinking at this very moment. This is what I feel for the entire week. This is what I feel. You cannot change it. This is how it's set to be in stone.
Mhm.
So he's just collectively taking these emotions that he's feeling, which nobody else in the camp has any creative control over. Granted, even though we can honestly say that Daytona is a masterpiece. We don't know if it's a classic yet, but I can strongly say that it is a masterpiece.
All right, nice.
Okay.
Stephen.
I think
I was
if
gonna
we
go
looked
in.
at Kanye's career pre-Yeezus, everything that's been judged upon him now is totally valid. I think post-Yeezus, I think we have to grade him on a different level. We don't grade him as far as his being able to be on time or his tardiness on creating an album. I think you grade it on how the album sounds, how he adjusts to it now. If you're living to the living now and every day is now theme, that kind of goes hand in hand to what he's been doing recently. You go back to The Life of Pablo, he was remaking Wolves while the album was already released.
No,
So
every
to see-
time you go back to
so
that
to
album,
see
it's
what he's
still
doing
a
now,
John Wall.
to a certain extent with Ye, with Nasir, and with Teyana Taylor's album coming out, and K.T.S.E Ghost, it kind of works within the thread or the I guess the conversation of what Kanye is today and what he's been for the last few
Nice
years.
point, Reg.
I mean, well, are we going to talk about the Ye album? Or
We're
are we
talking
just
about we're talking about the rollout right now.
just
Right now, the
overall,
rollout.
The rollout is messy, but overall, like, it doesn't really matter how it comes out because we're still going to listen. Like, we're going to hear it. And,
Not all
like,
of us. Not all of
whether it's good or not, not all of us, but the people that intend on
Judgy.
listening,
I haven't listened to Ye.
the people that intend on listening are still going to listen to
Wow.
it no matter how that shit came out and how messy it was. Like, if it's good, it won't matter that it was messy.
Okay, I open it up. So, Greg.
So I have a few thoughts about this rollout process. The first thing is that it really does matter how you present your music. Because earlier today we were talking about creating a moment. So the way that you receive music is something that sticks with you forever. You can remember where you were the first time you heard Watch the Throne. You can remember where you were the first time you heard Blueprint. These are things that stick with you. So when somebody creates an environment for you where you're not a happy listener, suddenly your rubric for grading that album is so much tougher. You waited all day to get it. Now you're like, this Nas album is whack. Because your standard is so much higher. I had to wait 12 hours. This thing better be amazing. So people are coming in there with already a poisoned ear. My second thought about the whole rollout was that the concept is cool hypothetically, but would you rather have a month to yourself or a week to yourself? It's almost like your shelf life is being shortened because it's like, Pusha, this is your week. Now it's my week. Now it's Cudi's week. Now it's Nas's week. But I would rather you say, we're going to take 5 months in a row. And I'm going to give you 10 tracks each. And he's going to run June. I'm going to run July. He's going to run August. And at the end of the year, it's going to be a longer, sustainable run. Instead of just a month.
That's a good point.
No, he said 10 tracks.
He said 10 tracks. He said 10 tracks.
Even 10 would
It wouldn't last a month.
From what I understand, Pusha T explained in the interview, he had arguments about doing 7 tracks with Ye, and then he realized, he has 5 albums to do. So if the fact that Kanye wants to do 5 albums is restricting the creativity of an artist, I think that's a bad rollout. If Pusha T says, I want 10 tracks, but I know he got 4 more albums to do, so I'll just do 7, it's like, Pusha got more to say. if he's in a classic bag, imagine what else he could have put on that album.
But
That's
you know,
true.
all right, so that's a good point. But you know what happens at the end of that? At the end of that 5-week rollout, what you do is not just fatigue probably comes later. But what you do is think to yourself, which album was the best out of that 5 weeks? And so you go to that and you focus on that. And it is a process of elimination at some point. But I think it does make you focus on like what it makes you pick what you really like and stick with it.
I think if you look at the TDE model, they've done it way better. Where it's like this is going to be J-Rock's year. Last year was Kendrick's year.
They
And
do that.
SZA.
They do it
You know what I mean? Like
everybody changes their icon.
They focus.
They
They
don't
focus on
battle
that
with each
person.
other.
Nah, they focus on that one person. But I want to hear what Jamil says too. I mean Jameer. Sorry.
All right, so
Drinking.
I actually, we'll blame it on that. I actually think the album's rollouts are brilliant. And
It was exciting, right?
I think so because not excited in terms of I want to like I can't wait. It's just like he was on this whole crazy as a motherfucker binge. Like he was just saying the wildest shit, and you're like, I don't know what Kanye's talking about. I'm canceling him. It gave him the attention that he said. Remember he said on the Breakfast Club, he was like, I created a project, The Life of Pablo, and it practically got no airtime. It got no press. It got all this. Like to me, yes, I think Kanye has issues, but I also think that he's still a visionary. The fact that everything is coming out so sporadically, and even though there's a guideline, it's like you could get it at 11:55 p.m. on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like it shows that what's going on in here is expressing outward, and no matter how like you feel about it, whether it was trash, like whether it was great, everybody was there for that moment. Like they wanted to see what the project would sound like.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed by like some of Nas's project, not all of it, but I'm like, I stayed and I watched that live stream.
All right.
I was waiting for the project.
I got something to say about
We're gonna get into that, and I want to hear what Beatriz has to just say about the whole rollout. And we're gonna get into each project.
The Good Music rollout, I thought it was cool. It was like surprising. I knew nothing was gonna be on time.
Mhm.
We kind of knew that already.
Facts.
So I was already waiting for that, and I'm cool with. Rules are meant to be broken. So just because you say you're gonna release at 6:00 doesn't mean you have to release by 6:00.
Because we're gonna wait for it.
We're gonna wait for it.
Yeah,
I don't
don't
want you to make me wait too long.
You've been
That's
to a
been
Lauryn
my
Hill concert?
expectation. I actually have. I actually done that.
Yeah.
You don't care when she comes out,
But
as
that's
long
what
as she's good.
But
But
people
it's
know
different.
that and they still come.
It's different though. You're at a concert. You took the time to leave your crib. Like this is something
You're
that's
standing.
gonna come to your computer.
But do you also think that this is the album? Do you think that this 7 tracks that we've been waiting from Teyana, this is the album?
Oh, for her?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
this is
do.
For her, yes.
I think for her, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
You don't think that she could do a little bit better than
I think she's been
I think
working on
Tiana's
it.
gonna be the crown jewel of everything.
I think so. I think
that's
this
why
album's
we
been
started
surprised a
with-
lot.
I'm
of
not
people.
sure selling it because
You're
I'm
putting
not
some
going
type
against
of
it
reasoning
because I'm
to
definitely
it,
looking
but
forward
it's
to the
like-
project.
Nah.
Because the
Here's my
snippets,
thing. I
the
kinda feel
snippets that she was throwing up on like IG and all this other stuff, well, fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Fire.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
ready.
I
I
feel
think
like
she had
I
it
think she
ready,
will.
and then Kanye came back and was like, "All right, let's whatever." But B
Yeah.
was still talking. Let's let
Okay,
B
well,
finish.
quick note though. By the time you see this, we've heard this shit. So yeah, this is
If it
just
drops
Opinions
tonight,
might change.
hopefully.
Look
If it drops
Yeah,
tonight, if it
yeah,
drops
hopefully.
Yeah, wait,
Hopefully.
hold on. Be-
The rollout we spoke about, that Daytona is my I
Fire.
love Daytona.
Yeah.
I like it from beginning to end.
That's Beatriz
And
said.
it's like, Okay, I like what will Meek do. I literally like 1 to 7. I like this my Monday morning music.
I don't like the track with Ross.
Yo, Beatriz want to sell drugs so bad. Yo, Beatriz,
You can say that on camera?
I don't like
I don't
way
wanna
that
sell
they
drugs.
Right, exactly.
Go
But
ahead.
I
back
wanna
and
live
forth.
that life.
Go ahead.
The one,
It's almost poetic, bro.
the one thing that, the one last thing I want to say that kind of bothered me is that what you were saying about it being like a rolling rollout, like you're getting it fresh out the press. It's like we judge music not in an instant gratification way. We judge it for its timelessness. So if you didn't,
Some of
Some
us.
of us.
We do.
Some of us.
for the most part, when you
I
look
don't
back
know
at the
no
history
more.
of music, the reason Lauryn Hill is still on
Oh.
tour is because of timelessness.
It's
But
because
if your
of-
album was hot for a month and then a year later you wouldn't play it. We're
See,
not
but
giving
that's-
you that respect.
So okay, so I get that.
I
If you
think
didn't
it's a new
spend
day, though.
time, if you didn't spend time with your record enough to know, is this still hot a month from now? Then how do you know it's battle tested for the streets?
But music like that is battling times like this where attention spans are short.
It's way different.
Right? So it's way different. Even when you go to the movies now, that's like action packed. Like 6 cars exploding in the credits, in the opening credits. Like they know they have to catch you.
I think
So it's like that. That's pouring over into music, and I feel like that's why Kanye felt like 7 tracks was the go-to.
Which
not,
makes sense.
Not the track number. I'm talking about the fact that he's finishing producing it 10 minutes before he puts it online.
See, but that's a but that's kind of a thrilling
We want
part.
you to sit and spend
It's
time.
thrilling and
But
it's
I'm
also
saying that's a
timely.
thrilling part, and it's timely.
It's timely.
There's a
Like
wrong-
people
What makes
putting
it,
out
what
shit.
makes, what makes it, what makes it
Bro,
thrilling
it is.
is just that what makes it thrilling because at the caliber that we hold Kanye, it's just like, all right, now we're challenging our expectations to you. Like,
Yeah.
can you do it? And we're seeing these artists at their best. Like,
I don't know about Nas.
Like, yo, Nas.
Is this the best
The only reason why that you're not hearing Nas on this
Lyrics
album.
isn't missing. It's the lack
Yeah,
of
but you
energy.
said
It's the lack of energy and the lack of production. Like, it's just
hold on.
it's overshadowing what he's saying
Hold on.
because he has a very powerful message.
Hold on.
But the mistake about it, we've heard it. It's been recycled already because Hov already gave us 444. He's at where he's supposed to be at. Hov is kind of
Hov is
Nas
different.
is kind of like, damn, bro, we still seeing you in that same pocket.
Felix, go ahead, go ahead, Felix.
Kanye has always been an artist before a rapper.
Facts.
That's true. And now with the paradox of what he's doing right now is that he's leaning more towards live, right? So he wants to do things right now. But when you take art and you do things live, it automatically makes it performance art, and that's anti-hip hop. That's why it's not clicking as much as the other music.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Wow.
And with that being said, we're gonna close out on that note. And I knew that my man was gonna bring it home. So we're gonna thank y'all, and we're gonna see y'all next time. All right, we out.